Hi and welcome to Zedos Gang, episode number 14. On today's show we'll be talking about Gambit, Mallrats 2, Murder on the Orient Express, John Williams' return to Star Wars and Indiana Jones, Passion of the Christ 2, The Return, Transformers the movie, How to Fix the DC films, Wolverine 3, Archer the movie and much more here on the Zedos Gang.
Benny, bring me everyone.
What do you mean everyone?
I'd like to introduce my partner in crime, Joe Buchanan.
Hello.
And we have a special guest right here today, my friend Neil Coppin.
Howdy, folks.
Okay, so on to the first topic, which is trailers that dropped this week, and we've got the first one is The Shallows. There's already been one trailer to this, but this is a second trailer. It doesn't feel like a second trailer, but I think it is. And it just there's a monologue playing through the trailer. You see Blake Lively, who's the main character in the film. She's just swimming, doing her thing, and that's about it really. There's a lot of imagery that flashes on you of what she's doing when she gets attacked, and that's pretty much how I saw it really. It didn't really do anything for me in terms of wanting to watch the film more than I do now, but I found it entertaining to a degree. I thought it was a different try for a trailer of this film's kind, and so yeah. On to you, Neil. What do you think?
It actually made me want to watch it more than the first teaser trailer, because even though it's like, okay, yeah, I know that, spoiler, I know that there's a shark in it, but it seems a lot more it sort of just came out of nowhere, because with the original trailer, you see her and she's screaming for help for every second of the start of the trailer. With this, it's the California girl's going on the beach somewhere, and she's on the surfboard, she's having a great time surfing, and then you just see the shadow of the shark in its giant wave. And I was like, I like that. I like that a lot, because knowing that I was going to be here today, I went and rewatched Jaws, the trailer for Jaws.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. And
rewatching trailer for Jaws, it's like that. You hardly ever see, and if you watch old trailers of Jaws, they're like 3 minutes long, you hardly see the shark. Yeah. You see everyone's reactions to it. You see,
yeah, that's right.
There's a monologue over the top.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on, but you hardly ever see the shark. I don't want to see the shark until I see the film. Mm-hmm. I know there's a shark in it. Mm-hmm. That's good enough. I don't want to see it like Alien. Don't show me what it is. Show me everyone afraid of what it is. Yeah. Show me their reactions to it.
Yeah, they use that same what you're talking about in terms of imagery and the way it's shown to you in that trailer. They did the same thing. Did you ever see the first Prometheus trailer?
I did. And
it's just shots of this thing and reactions to some things that's going on, and it's just, what is going on here? And that's how I felt about this trailer. I knew I was going to watch it, and the way it was throwing these images at you. Okay, she's clearly a strong woman. She's independent. The monologue was talking about independence as well, and it did invoke that. I thought it was a very bold trailer, because trailers aren't done like this anymore, in the sense that it shows you everything. Hey, this happens and this happens and this happens. This is the end of the film, and you kind of come and watch it. And so, that's what I thought. But yeah, sorry, Kevin.
That was literally it. It's just the fact that I don't need to. I know what the film is about, so I don't need to see that yet. Surprise me when I watch the films. Show me the shark when I'm watching it. Don't show me the shark in the trailers. I don't want to know if she survives until I'm seeing the film.
Yeah.
So showing me, her having a great big battle with the shark where, I don't know, she's on top of a sinking boat and she smile, you son of a... No. I don't need to see that in the trailer.
Yeah.
Let me watch it in the film and then be caught up in it.
Sure.
So this trailer being the way it is, I liked it.
Okay. Satch, what did you think about this?
Yeah, I thought it played out like a teaser trailer, to be honest, but a very good put together trailer. I think it definitely had me like interested in seeing the thing if I wasn't interested before. Yeah, I mean, like, you guys are right. I think you guys hit on the nail. Trailers aren't cut like this anymore, and it just kind of surprised me that this was their final trailer, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. This is more like a teaser trailer.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It felt more like a teaser, but it's a very good, well put together trailer. It doesn't give away anything. Be interesting to see what Jean Collet Sierra, I think his name is, the director, does with this, because like all his other films seem to be a lot more bigger scale. I mean, he did Non-Stop, Run All Night, Unknown, Orphan, House of Wax. You know what I mean? They're all very, action-y kind of movies. This is probably the most contained movie he's ever done, kind of thing.
Which I think is going to be character driven, because it deals with one character in particular. So if it has to, it will fail or survive on if you like the character on what Blake Lively's playing or how he plays it, really. So yeah.
But yeah, that's.
Okay,
my 2 cents. Yeah.
Okay, well, fantastic. Well, that's The Shallows, and I think that comes out in June or July. I haven't got a...
June 29th.
June 29th, there we go. Gave you that there. And on to the next trailer, which is Highlander, and this is not a new Highlander, it's a restored Highlander. It's been restored from its 35mm into 4K, and it's 35mm print into 4K. And it's if you've never seen this before, if anyone is in their 20s is what is listening to this, then there's a good chance they've not seen it. And so this is when Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery. Well, I still see Sean Connery as a legend, but Christopher Lambert was this guy from Brussels. That was is he from Brussels?
No, he's from France.
Is he from France? Okay.
Yeah.
He was this. I don't understand Christopher Lambert in the sense that he shouldn't really be a star of any kind, really, because it
came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere, and but you kind of like him anyway. So this is a restoration of the Highlander print, and this comes out. The date was on the trailer, I'm gonna put everything that we're talking about is gonna be in the description, and it's gonna be made clickable. So if you want to see any more details on it, you can just click on the appropriate part of it. But yeah, I know it's coming out sometime this year. I think it's September. I did see. But again, it's just if you've never seen it, it's about these immortals that are scattered around the world, and if you chop one of their heads off, you gain their knowledge. And that's called the quickening, and I can't explain it any more than that. But someone else could.
I would say Highlander is, if you haven't seen it and you are in your 20s, shame on your parents or your older siblings for not showing you. If you are in your 30s and you haven't seen it, shame on you.
Yeah.
You've got no one to blame but yourself. Right? There's not enough art house movies in the world to say you couldn't watch Highlander on a late night. But it's a good old-fashioned fantasy epic set in different time periods, and it works great. It absolutely works great. When you watch the film, you'll see why it works great. You'll see why older people say, "Oh, there can only be one," and they smile when they say it. You'll understand.
Yeah. So what did you think of the trailer? Because we actually.
I mean, it's always difficult to watch a trailer for a film that you've already seen.
Yeah.
But for me, it still works. It holds up.
Yeah.
I think, how old is the film? About 30 years old now?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
It holds up. It still works. Watching the trailer, obviously, it's difficult to watch a trailer for a film that is old enough that, we're not talking CG heavy films. We're not talking a film that, the special effects are just, oh wow, that's absolutely, meticulously done correctly. It's like, that probably wouldn't happen. But it works perfectly. Everything works. And just seeing it more crisp, sometimes there are certain films that you really just
Yeah, you don't.
You don't want them restored.
Yeah.
Highlander isn't like that. Highlander's a film that, yep, I'm happy I'm seeing this restored.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah.
It does look really nice. And so I can't wait to see this. Sacha, what did you think?
Yeah, the trailer looked great. I've never seen Highlander, but that trailer totally makes me want to see it. The Queen soundtrack. I'm being serious. I've never seen the Highlander, so yeah.
Shame.
I've seen bits. I've seen the cartoon sequel. It confuses me that Sean Connery is Scottish but playing Spanish but sounding Mexican.
Well,
Sean Connery can be anywhere and he'll still sound Scottish.
But yeah, I'll check it out one day. But I'm sure the movie's great.
It is amazing.
I'm sure the new special.
It's been restored. That's how great it is. So from that to the Legend of Tarzan, and I've got a lot to say about this, to be honest.
A lot.
Alright.
Okay. Damn.
I enjoyed the trailer to a degree, but I have one issue with it. It's the trailer's fine. It goes through all the. If you don't know Tarzan, then I can't really help you with that. But
I heard he's a great guy.
Yeah,
acts a bit like an ape every now and again.
He's not hygienically conscious.
It starts off with his parents being killed. That's in the trailer, so don't blame me for any spoilers or anything. And him being raised by apes, and in every film apart from Greystoke, Greystoke's another film with Christopher Lambert in it, which is just Tarzan. You see when you meet him for the first time, he's got this big bearded bush of hair on him, and this Alex Skarsgård is clean.
What about the Disney version?
I will simply say there's a reason for it. When you watch the film, there's a reason for it.
Okay.
There's an explanation.
Okay, fair enough. That's been my problem with Tarzan. Apart from Greystoke, he's always been clean, and I have an issue with that. And not tanned, he's whiter than white. If you're living in a jungle for all your life, you wouldn't look like Alex Skarsgård.
Maybe he was
Alexander
albino
Skarsgård even.
Tan.
Sorry?
Maybe he was albino and that is the tan.
Or Irish.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into that, but yeah, I did enjoy it, but it looks like Greystoke for a new generation. It's alright. What about you, Neil? What do you think?
It's a Tarzan film, so it's like, it's like, unfortunately, with certain films, once you've seen one, you've seen them all.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, we haven't seen it with this cast. I mean, in the trailer, I noticed I heard John Hurt speaking. So it's like, you've got John Hurt, you've got Samuel L. Jackson, you've got Christoph Waltz. So you've already got great people in it. You've got Margot Robbie, so everything is good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, it's Tarzan with your current dream cast in it, so to speak. Didn't look at it and see any problems.
I feel the same way. It's just like, oh.
I'm not expecting anything great. I mean, there are parts of the trailer where it does look a bit more like Assassin's Creed than it does. Like, he's jumping off of stuff, and I'm just like, maybe you need a sword.
Well, isn't that what he does? I mean, like...
Well,
no.
Yeah, he Tarzan. He swings off everything.
Off trees.
I don't actually know what Tarzan does. All I know is that
He's bananas,
in Greystoke, he was the son of a billionaire or millionaire, and that's about it.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, sorry, a little tiny bit not off subject, but sideways. If you believe what Disney says, then he is, rich family, and he's the brother of the chicks from Frozen.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah, dead serious. He is the. Look it up online, people. I'm not lying.
Wow. Well, there's a scoop for you here.
He is apparently the brother of the two sisters from Frozen, because their parents, who died on a ship, didn't die on that ship. They got off that ship and wound up in the jungle, and then they built a tree house, and the mum was pregnant and had herself a son who was raised by gorillas after they were killed.
Wow. That's a bombshell and a half. I didn't
You sure
know
that's
that.
not one of those Disney kind of connect the dots, you know, like how
No,
they do
I thought it was that at first, and
Yeah?
then when you hear something like that, sometimes
kind of look into it.
You got a Sunday where you're
I'm
not
going to
filming.
look into that.
And I looked into it, and it is even the director said they didn't die on the ship.
Right.
They actually survived and wound up in the jungle, and he says it.
Oh, okay.
That sounds like Greystoke to me.
Yeah.
What do you think, Serge?
But I think, yeah, it was a good, it was a better trailer than the first one. No, I think it might be okay. David Yates is more than capable of doing this. That guy's directed like all the later half of the Harry Potters. I mean, like, you know what, he actually started off as like someone lower down the chain down in Harry Potter land. You know what I mean? Like he's always worked on all the Potter movies, and I remember when they were looking for a director, they gave him a shot because he'd always worked on the other ones. He also did State of Play, the TV series. That's like is it a Ridley Scott film, State of Play, with Russell Crowe?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Well, he directed all the episodes for the original BBC series, and that around that line, that's how he got into the Potter films and worked his way up. And then obviously he did really well with one of them, and they kept him as director ever since. He's also doing the new Potter spin-off that comes out later on this year. So he's got 2 big movies out in the same year, which I find is like really weird. But
it's impressive.
But you know what? He's more than capable of doing this. The cast look pretty solid. The Scar. What's it? How do you put it? Alexander Skarsgård?
Alexander Skarsgård.
Skarsgård. Yeah, I remember he was up for Thor and didn't quite get it, but. He looks the part as Tarzan.
Yeah.
It looks like they. I was a bit confused with what the take is on his origin story here. It looks like
It's Greystoke. It's nothing more, nothing less.
I thought maybe he left the island for a bit, got a bit more sophisticated, because probably like Jane and him got married or something, and now he's back. Doing things which could explain like the clean cutness. Well, that's what I got from that trailer.
I got the same thing.
Yeah. So it all depends on what they do with this. I mean, this is just another. To me, this is like another iteration of like Tarzan. I'm more familiar with the Walt Disney one, but I haven't seen it in about 10 years. But like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a new version of Tarzan. Anyone seen the Schwarzenegger one where they dubbed his voice?
No, that was Hercules.
Was that Hercules?
Yeah, it was Hercules.
Hercules in New York.
Who was Tarzan?
He wasn't Tarzan.
He wasn't Tarzan.
He's never been Tarzan.
Arnold should have been Tarzan at one point, man.
Definitely not. Definitely not. He looked like he'd have been raising them apes.
But yeah.
Well, I guess that's how we feel about it. Okay, so on to the main news topics. We'll start with Gambit, and it looks that the director Doug Lima, he's considering doing something else. So that's the final nail in the coffin for Gambit. It looks like this one's been in a lot of trouble ever since it was conceived or thought of. So in that regard, I don't think this film's ever going to see the light of day, especially considering how well Deadpool did.
Yeah.
And how much they wanted to spend on Gambit. It's night and day. There's no way it's going to happen. I can't see it happening. What do you think?
I hope it doesn't happen. I'm happy if it doesn't happen. I love comic book type movies, period. But I just don't see any sort of real progression, or I don't see why you pick Gambit as a character to start with. Doug Liman is a good director, but if you wanted to pick a director to do a Gambit film, he's not the guy for it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? I'll go out and say it, right? The closest you should ever get to seeing a Gambit film on its own is Hard Target. Van Damme. He's got the sort of the accent. He's got the long hair.
I see where you're going with that.
That's as close as we ever need to get to a Gambit film. Right? It's Channing Tatum. I'm a fan of Channing Tatum as an actor. I think he can do serious roles when he needs to. A Guide for Recognizing Your Saints is clearly shows that he can act.
Yeah.
He's obviously comedic. We've seen how many films that, you know, whether it's the Jump Street films, whether it's whatever, you know that he can act. You know he can physically do whatever action wise. We've seen G.I. Joe, but he's not Gambit.
So can I just, before I get back to him, are you endorsing Jean-Claude Van Damme to be Gambit now?
When they made Hard Target, I would have endorsed him to be Gambit, right? Nowadays, maybe he could have been Gambit's like dad or great uncle or something, but no, it's just Gambit isn't a character. Sorry, X-Men fan, Gambit is not worthy enough to have his own standalone film.
No, I think that's fair.
It's not. He wasn't a big enough character. If you read the comic, then yeah, he was a big enough character because everybody's a big enough character in a comic. You can give anyone their own run.
Yeah.
Comics don't translate into films that way. You can't give some, you know. Let's face it, Harry Potter fans, you wouldn't watch a film if it was literally, Charlie Weasley, the movie. No, it wouldn't work. You'd be like, oh, wait a minute, that's like one of Ron's older brothers, isn't that like giving, I don't know, Arnold Schwarzenegger's second cousin a film because they have the same last name? It doesn't work that way. It doesn't translate.
Yeah.
So, if the film is dead in the water, good. Sorry, you know, I don't want people to be out of work or nothing. You know, move on to another project, but let's be honest.
I don't think you've got anything to worry about. Channing Tatum, we'll be fine.
No, because the thing is, I heard that Channing Tatum wasn't going to be in Gambit because he's now supposedly going to be Shazam.
What?
Damn.
I
thought that was The Rock.
No, The Rock is Black
Adam.
Ah, okay.
And they were saying that Channing Tatum was who they were going to select to be Shazam. I kind of see it if he basically works out like The Rock for the next year, or basically works out like The Rock until they release the film. But I mean, he could theoretically do it, but I'd see him more as Shazam than I would as Gambit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think, Sach? I guess we've covered most of that.
Well, yeah. I'm in the camp where I'm an X-Men fan that would love to see a Gambit movie. I don't know about what the spiel you just said, but like personally, I would love to see a Gambit movie if done right. And the other thing is, it's kind of like, what would be a Gambit movie? I mean, like, you know, a lot of people are kind of like grey areas and that. There's a lot of the mythos that they could do to create a movie. Whether the studio are on the same page with like the fanboys or whatever, and you know what, my idea of a Gambit movie may not be what everyone else wants, but either way, now that I've said that and all of that, I mean, like, look at the list of directors that they've looked out for that have turned it down. They've had, you know, they went for Gareth Evans, the Raid guy. They went for Bennett Miller, you know, the guy that directed him in Foxcatcher, which I think would have been a good move because it would have gotten out a good performance out of him at least.
It would have been very dark.
Yeah, it would have been very dark. Joe Cornish was offered it. You know, the one that interests me was Shane Black turned it down. Because after Shane Black did Iron Man 3, he made $1 billion movie. Everybody wanted him for something, and he's just a nice guy that he just stuck to his guns. But I mean, Rupert White was attached. You know, he left because of creative differences. This is a guy that, you know, unless he gets it his way or it's happening organically, you know what I mean, then he'll do the movie, because that's why he left the second Apes film. You know what I mean? Because too many cooks. Now Doug Liman's left. You know what I mean? It's like, what are they doing there? They've given this movie, what, $180 million budget? Or was
it was more than that.
Was it 200
It was
million?
going into 200.
Okay, outside effects then, okay, we're not even going to mention bullshit origins, okay? We're picking a character...
No, you mentioned it.
No. But we're picking a character that isn't actually out of the main X-Men movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't in the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Okay? And he definitely doesn't fit in with...
He was an Easter egg in X-Men 2.
Oh, yeah. But he doesn't, you know, he definitely doesn't fit in with where the X-Men are now. That's after Apocalypse and that, unless they decide to make sequels from the Halle Berry lot. Because chronologically, that would make sense to me.
Yeah.
Given that Anna Paquin Rogue is with that lot, if that makes sense. So, in that retrospect, you know what I mean? Doing a Gambit movie, it just doesn't make sense. You know, because Gambit, well, who is he? You know what I mean? Like, for the casual audience, they're like, well, who is he? You know what I mean? It's not like Deadpool, where...
Well, no, it is like
well,
Deadpool.
No.
Well,
But let me finish my sentence, okay? It's not like Deadpool, where Deadpool is a mass marketing thing from the get-go. You know what I mean? You couldn't market Gambit the same way, especially if you're spending 200 million on Gambit. You know what I mean? You got to establish who Gambit is first. And like, they could probably do it as like a standalone movie, but I think that's way too big amount of money that needs spent on a Gambit movie. You can do it on a lot less. I agree with you. Tatum, I don't see Tatum as Gambit at all, but that doesn't necessarily mean that if they were to make a Gambit movie with Channing Tatum, if that trailer sold me, I'd be all in. Personally, as bad as Origins was, it worked for Ryan Reynolds. Titch.
Yeah.
Titch played him well. If there was anything, you know what, I hated Gambit being in the Wolverine movie, but I like the guy they got, kind of thing.
Taylor Kitsch.
Taylor Kitsch was good. I mean, like, he's doing nothing now, or well, he must be doing something. But I mean, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I say, give him his shot.
Last thing he did was True Detective.
True Detective. Well, you know what? Like, give him his shot. Have it a much smaller kind of budget. You know, more akin to what Deadpool was. Me being a Gambit fan, personally, I would like to see something of an Ocean's 11's vibe with Gambit.
Yeah.
Set in New Orleans. Make it a heist movie. Totally do a heist movie. Yeah, I'm pitching a Gambit movie. Make it a heist movie with mutants with superpowers. Have a backstory with Sinister and his ex-girlfriend that died in France or wherever the fuck it was. You know what I mean? In fact, I think she's in this movie. I'm not too sure. They've got... who's the girl they got? They got Leah Sedokes. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she was the Bond girl in Spectre. She played the love interest.
Yes.
Okay, she's in there, and they're the two leads. You know what I mean? I just totally do like an Ocean's vibe, man, and just totally make it mutants with superpowers doing a heist of some sort for an item. Maybe put Sinister in it. Maybe he's doing a job for Sinister, and maybe have flashbacks for all you X-Men fans when Gambit teamed up with Sinister and killed all the what are they called? Marauders. Do that shit. Have that as a flashback that he keeps waking up from because man pushed out. You know what I mean? Like, literally, because that's like a huge thing in the X-Men lore with his character, and that would be a good nightmare flashback thing, because he's trying to get away from Sinister. He's trying not to relive that past, and, he's got put him in a situation where he's hired by, I don't know, like, someone from the government that knows of his mutant abilities, and that he is, like, the best thief on the planet. That kind of shit. Bring him in. You know what I mean? Fuck it. That's what I'd do as a Gambit movie. Mind you, it would make sense why they got Rupert White in the first place, because he did The Gambler. You know what I mean? Maybe they were going for some of that vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's The Gambler?
The Gambler's the movie with Mark Wahlberg and John Goodman.
I never saw that.
Oh, okay.
You missed out.
Well,
It was okay.
I'll catch it.
It was okay. I wouldn't say it was triple A, but it was all right. I mean, Doug Liman. What did he do? He did Swingers.
He did,
Yeah, he did Swingers.
Did Bourne, right?
Huh?
Bourne?
Yeah, he did Bourne as well. He did
Edge of
Mr. and Mrs.
Tomorrow.
Smith, The Edge of Tomorrow. Mr. and Mrs. Smith has that kind of heist vibe. You know what I mean? So
See, now, I'm, and this is not just
Yeah.
because I'm this person's fanboy, but I would have said flat out, you know what? Get Shane Black to write it. Get Robert Rodriguez to direct it.
yeah,
Throw it out there. Cut the budget in
or just
half.
or just
You
get
know what I
Shane
mean?
Black,
Yeah.
or just settle with Shane Black, because Nice Guys has that flair for what I've got. For what I've got in my mind, kind of thing. Or fuck it, get fucking Soderbergh. I mean, like that's probably too big a name, but I mean, there's a reason why they sort out Shane Black. His filmography kind of, he's got that thing. I think he'd be cool. But that guy's got so many projects. He's almost like Robert Rodriguez. He's got Predators coming up next, and after that he's got Doc Savage. To be quite honest, I think he's just doing the films that he wants to do now. Gambit doesn't fit in that category just yet. Had the Nice Guys not made its budget back, and it looks like it's on course to make its budget back. It's not going to make like a ton of money, but he's already lined Predator up and the other thing is his next project, so he doesn't necessarily need Gambit.
Well, fair enough. But Predator's a known IP as well.
Yeah, so exactly.
It was something that people are going to go watch. Nice Guys was something new.
Yeah.
It's going to live or fail by what people felt.
Yeah, exactly.
so
he's not. You know what I mean? He doesn't need Gambit. But at the same time, I hear what you're saying. Gambit, that would excite me. I mean, it's been written by what's his name? Josh Ziterna? I know. But this guy...
We're talking about Gambit still.
Yeah, we're still talking about Gambit. It's written by that guy. His only other writing credits is RoboCop 2014. So, you know, I don't think that was the worst movie. I don't think it was as bad as it could have been. But at the same time, that doesn't give me faith in the project.
Well, see, the thing is, I mean, if the only thing he's written was RoboCop,
he's someone's cousin at Fox.
I'd give him. You know what? I give him a little blight because but there's a lot of films that are bad films solely because they're a reboot of something else.
Yeah,
RoboCop is not a bad film.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a bad remake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If it was called something completely different, and you know, if it was a completely different title and there was no correlation, it didn't say anything to do with RoboCop, and you just saw the film as it was, maybe the Ed 209s, maybe they look different, you know, everything just was there as it is on the screen, a lot more people would like it, a lot more people would enjoy it. But people, you know, we have hang-ups of, oh, you know what, this ain't Paul Verhoeven's, you know, this ain't that.
Yeah.
So we don't like it.
Yeah.
Whereas it's, you know, the giving a thing a chance. I mean, with Gambit, I'm going to kind of backtrack a little bit where I said it's not big enough. It's not big enough for an audience that don't know Gambit. Yeah. If you're a fan, you'll go and watch it. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a given. It's like, you know, someone said, oh, there's a Gambit film coming out, and I don't know, they told me that what's his name from The Big Bang Theory. Like, if you said, oh,
if Sheldon did, the guy who plays Sheldon? Leonard, okay.
Yeah, if you told me that he was going to be playing Gambit, I'd be, you know, cussing and, you know, throwing the toys out the pram, but at the end of the day, I'd still probably see it in the cinema and watching it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about Namor. Namor's apparently back over at Marvel, has been confirmed that Fox have let go the rights to Namor.
Good.
He's now back at Marvel. I'm kind of confused there because, like, how does that affect the Fantastic Four? Probably it doesn't. But Namor being back at Marvel, what do you think, Joe?
I don't know. Don't care.
Okay. What do you think, dude?
I'm very happy. I like every time Marvel get another character back, it just makes me smile because Marvel have a great, well, I was going to say a great history, but they're only getting their characters back bit by bit, but they have a very good way of incorporating the characters as they get them back into the MCU. It's, you know, if it's very subtle, like say the Netflix stuff, you know, we're like, Daredevil came back, and the only real mention that we got was one of the characters was, you know, talking about how Daredevil beat someone up, and he was like, I can understand if he had a suit of armor or a magic hammer.
Yeah.
Reference to Iron Man or Thor. You know, they constantly reference the Battle of New York. They just call it the incident.
Yeah.
Right. It's, you know, if you ever watch Daredevil, when they're in the newspaper offices, they actually have newspaper articles of what happened in New York when the invasion happened. So I love that they subtly do it with certain characters and bringing it in and saying that, you know, with Civil War, the introduction of Spider-Man, the way they introduced him is great. I love the way that they did it. So bringing, as you get more characters back, it's great. And Namor, to me, he's on the same peg as Ant-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy. He's a character you didn't really care about him, but you're not going to care about them until you see them.
Yeah.
So he's a character. He is basically Marvel's version of Aquaman. He is the king of Atlantis. He is half human, half mutant. Well, he's actually not half. He's a mutant. So he already has ties to the X-Men in that regard that he's a mutant. But he's the king of Atlantis. So, he's, as a character, he's had two main flaws. The first of which was he was an invader. An invader is basically the team of superheroes during World War II that were with Captain America. Before Avengers, there were invaders. So that was the original Human Torch, was an android, which is actually in Captain America First Avenger. And it was Captain America, Bucky, the Human Torch, and Submariner. Right, which is Namor. Namor is the Submariner.
Okay.
And it was that core team, and they were the superheroes of World War II, and they'd run in there and they would defend and save people and do what they do. And Namor was part of that. Then Namor became really kind of embroiled with the Fantastic Four, and as a character being kind of mixing up with them because he's the underwater king, and then there was issues where he had a thing for Sue Storm, and then there was issues with him and the Thing, and issues with Reed. Everything was coming on, but as a character, it's the type of character you can give him his own standalone stuff, and it will be great standalone stuff. It will be a departure from things because it will be very similar to Thor, as in it's pretty much another world, because it's everything that's going on under the ocean. So in that regard, it's his own thing. But at the same time, you could now that Marvel have him, you could bring him in and say, okay, he's going to be he's part of what happens with the Avengers. And you can have so much tension because he's royalty, he's a king. So, what king is actually going to sit there and pay attention to what Tony Stark has to say? A king, he could have his own little, verbal disagreements with Black Panther because he's a king. He could have his own little issues with Thor because Thor's a prince. And it's different levels of royalty, different levels of people behaving. Great, but having Namor back is a beautiful thing.
Okay. Well, yeah, when it was announced, I didn't know anything about the character. So to me, it was like...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I always knew him as the bad guy in Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the... like you said, the Sue Richards thing.
Yeah.
Because that's how I got introduced to him as a bad guy in Jim Lee's Fantastic Four during the Heroes Reborn stuff. Yeah. And I was like, wow, and I always found him an interesting character as well. I think it'd be interesting to see. I could see him showing up at the start of Phase 4.
Yeah.
Maybe after Thanos, maybe some shit goes down on Earth. It disrupts the ocean. And he's like, yo, what the fuck did you do to the Earth? It's fucked up my crib down in Atlantis. I'm here to take some names and faces.
Yeah.
And then he's the villain. And then, boom, Avengers got to assemble and, take him out. And he's just like, nah, son, just...
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
but then, this is the thing, though. It's all about who's going to get theirs out. Will Namor come out or will Aquaman come out first?
Well,
I can't see it being Namor.
I'm pretty sure that it would be Aquaman to come out first. But, I mean, it's the same kind of situation as saying Green Arrow and Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Green Arrow is a member of the Justice League, but
yeah.
I mean, the Warner Brothers DC universe, film cinematic wise, they're not going to touch Green Lantern with the Green Arrow. Sorry, they're not going to touch him with a 50-foot barge pole because A, he's doing so well. I know you don't like it, but he's doing so well as a TV show, and B, because it automatically will look so much like Avengers.
I've got to address this here on the show because so many people like Sash, what do you mean you don't like Arrow? Okay, my hate for Arrow comes from my love for Arrow, okay? You got to understand, the first 2 seasons of Arrow, am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, they are beautiful.
Were beautiful. They were so sick, okay? I was like, because I know shit all about Arrow other than him showing up in Smallville and stuff and me not liking him much. But I like Stephen Amell. I love
Yeah.
him as the character. I love what they did in those first 2 seasons, you know. But I don't know what happened in season 3. About halfway through season 3,
Yeah.
when he fights Ra's al Ghul. Nah, man.
lost interest.
Not even lost interest. It just seemed like everyone who's his friend
New.
just knows he's the Arrow. And then it's just like, what comes after once they find out, here's a suit, you can join me too. Now all of a sudden, oh wait, you weren't a martial artist. Okay, I'll teach you how to fight. Not even 2 episodes, dude. 10 minutes later, my man's a martial artist and they're doing crazy shit and getting like, fucking, I'm sorry, but the reporter girl, his love interest, they got, I've forgotten her name.
We're getting off film topics.
I know
now.
we're getting off, I got to get out of me. I got to get this off my chest here to shut.
Laurel
Yeah,
Lance.
Laurel.
Yeah.
Okay, Laurel. Okay, that's cool. Shut up. Is she a fucking? Yeah,
Vigilante.
I'm done. I'm done. It's Arrow and Chums until they sort that shit out. Anyway.
All I would say in regards to that is, if you could bear with it, if you could just sit there and just binge watch the show and get through it, you will start to see for your own self that she might be running around doing it, but they're showing that she's shit.
Okay.
They show that
I'll,
she's
I'll,
not
I'll wait till
trained.
I'll
that
wait
she's
till
not.
someone tells me that it's good again, and then only then I'll.
It is good again, because if you watch it, you'll see every season.
Yeah.
Season 3 is the weakest of the seasons.
Yeah.
But when you watch it, everything makes sense. Everything will, like I said, have patience. Everything makes sense.
Alright.
The next topic is Mallrats 2. So Kevin Smith has announced that instead of doing a film of Mallrats, he's going to do a 10-episode follow-up to Mallrats. And so I think this is because he's just recently worked on a TV show, and he feels that that's a better way to tell this story. So that's where he's going with it. I wasn't a particularly the biggest fan of Mallrats. I like it.
Blasphemer.
I like it, but I like his other films a lot better. Because I never really had that thing where I was hanging out in the mall. I like what's his first one?
Clerks.
Clerks. I love Clerks, and I love Clerks 2. I love Dogma. I love Chasing Amy. I don't really hate any of his films, but that one I didn't really relate to.
Okay.
But I do get it. And from what he's said about it, I'm looking forward to it. It sounds like it's gonna be he's living in his own world at the moment. So, all right, this is funny. I'm gonna do this, and that's the way he used to be. If you listen to his podcast, he said he got into a bit of a rant. He felt, why are people saying this about me? And then he gave up, and then he came back and said, screw it, I'm gonna do what I want. And that's the Kevin Smith that started out as Kevin Smith. And so I'm glad that he's doing all these offshoot films like Yoga Hosers and what's the other one? Tusk.
Yeah.
It's just this sounds funny.
Tusk is
I don't
fucking
care if anyone watches it. I'm making it.
Yeah.
And I mean, going back to the topic in hand, Mallrats 2. The 10-episode thing, I think it makes sense. If his story is going beyond 3 hours, you might as well just do a TV show about it. What do you think about this?
Okay. Now, here's the thing. Kevin Smith he's part of my little holy trinity of my favorite 3 film directors, like, period. The reason I do what I do is because of, partly because of Kevin Smith. Films like Clerks, films like Mallrats. I just look at it as, if he decides that's what he wants to do, then I'm all for it.
Sure.
I don't necessarily believe that we have a reason for a sequel to Mallrats, but because you'd hope that after the length of time it's been that they've got jobs.
Well, they did got.
But-
well, we know Brody got a job.
Yeah, we know Brody got a
hosted
job.
the Tonight Show, but
I think it's sort of like it's not really needed, and I haven't really heard anyone ever say to me who's seen it, "Oh, I really, really want a Mallrats 2."
Yeah.
But at the same time, I didn't know anyone who ever said they really wanted a Clerks 2. But when we got it, I was like, "Oh yeah."
It's great. I love that film.
So I'm just like, do it, Kevin Smith. Just do it. Like, whatever your decision is, do it. I'm standing with you.
Yeah, that's good. And what do you think about it?
Well, I don't know, man. I'm not sure if I want like a 10 episodes. I just want a movie.
But no, if you.
But that's just. But hear me out. That's just me. That's just me, though. I mean, I like, you know, he's going to do it anyway. I'm sure it'll be good anyway. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I was kind of looking forward to the movie a little bit because it's like, oh wow, and I like the whole spin on it that it was going to be called Mallrats, which is kind of like a way of like marketing it like if it's its own entity rather than Mallrats 2, because I know a lot of people this generation wouldn't have seen it, and then I thought that would have been cool. Now that it's a TV show, I'm just kind of like, well, this, you know, does anyone want a TV show for Mallrats? I mean, like, I guess it's no different to anyone wanting Mallrats 2, like you said. I'll watch it regardless because I'm a Kevin Smith fan. Personally, though, I would have preferred a Clerks TV series because I actually think after watching the animated show like years ago, watching Clerks 2, there's loads they could do with a Clerks TV series.
He doesn't own Clerks.
Yeah,
he can't do it.
Yeah, I know that. Disney owned Clerks, but you know, that's
which is heartbreaking.
That's what I would. The fanboy in me would have liked to have seen that. You know what I mean? But oh well. Whatever, man. As long as he's happy and he's doing what he's doing, as long as it's good, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, well, if that's the way he wants to do it, as a 10-episode arc, then I'm sure I'm sure nothing will change. I know that the budget will be a bit smaller and it'll be more contained in. It's easy. In fact, it's easy to distribute in the sense that he doesn't have to rely on any distributors.
Yeah.
He can just go, hey, do you want this? All the episodes are here. They're done. Go for it. And so again, if he feels that's the right arc for him, then yeah, I'm all for it. And again, I'm not the biggest fan of Mallrats, and so I can easily consume this as whatever it is. I'll probably even become a bigger fan. Yeah. Seeing something every week, or if it's a Netflix thing or whatever, I don't know, but. If it's something that's episodic every week, you can get into the characters. You go, okay, this character's like this, character's like that, in a way that you couldn't really do with a film. And so, in some ways, it might be easier for him to do it this way because you'd be able to relate to the characters a little bit more, in the sense that if it's an hour, you've got an hour of this person or these people, and then next week you'll have an hour of them, another hour of them. So it's. And that's I see where his thought process is going, and he seemed to really enjoy the Flash episode that he directed, and so
which was amazing.
Oh, really? It was good, was it? Okay, good stuff. Is anything he's good at? It's dialogue. Yeah. He's really good at dialogue, and so yeah, I've got as you said, present it to me, I will watch it. So yeah. Okay, well, on from that to the Murder on the Orient Express, and. Looks like Angelina Jolie is up for one of the parts. This is a film being directed by Kenneth Branagh. It's a remake of Agatha Christie's novel, and my only association with this film is that it's something that my mum used to watch years and years ago. It used to come on TV all the time.
It still comes on TV all the time.
There you go. And so it's so I know the story. And some of them are good. Some of the interpretations have been good. Some of them have been bad in what you know or like about it. I like Kenneth Branagh as a director, so yeah, more power to it. I'm interested to see in how he does it. Will he do it as an action film?
I want Michael Bay's version of this.
That's the thing. You don't know. It could very well be that.
Blow up the train.
This the guy who did Thor, man, and Thor. I mean, I didn't think Kenneth Branagh would ever do something like that, and it turned out all right.
I mean, when you think of Kenneth Branagh, Thor is like an obvious choice. It's basically Shakespeare with superpowers.
Yeah, but again, the first name into my head would have been. But when I did hear it, was him. Like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, yeah.
It's not the person you think about, but when you get told, you're like, that works.
Yeah. And so it was like, oh, I didn't see that coming, but yeah, it kind of works. And having watched the Thor, it really works in how he used Tom Hiddleston and what he did on stage, and with who's the other guy? Anthony Hopkins. And you had this newcomer who was Australian. It mixed really well. It just worked. It just worked. It was a lightning in the bottle. Wow, that works. Especially Loki. Yeah. And I'm not saying he's going to do that with the Orient Express, but I think now that he's had a taste of doing that, I think he'll have a balance between what he does Shakespeareally and his Michael Bayism.
Yeah.
So that's what I've got to say about it.
Okay, Murder on the Orient Express. It was never something that immediately appealed to me.
Yeah.
As a child, obviously.
Yeah, it's something that was on.
Yeah. I haven't watched it since entering adulthood, so maybe it's really, really interesting and I just don't know. But, I mean, it's a film, it's going to be made, it's going to come out.
Yeah.
I mean, with Kenneth Branagh, it's like you said, I mean, to me, he's a great director. He knows what he's doing whenever he is behind the camera. He knows what he's doing in front of the camera. So, the film will be good. I think the film, they're going to have to really screw it up somehow for it to fail. But it'll be a good film. It'll be made. People will praise it and love it. And I think, people who have a solid experience with the older versions will probably just watch it. Whether they'll, throw their money down to go to the cinema and watch it, or whether they'll wait till it's on, Amazon or Netflix or something like that and watch it then, it will be watched and it will be a film that is...
Yeah.
I would say, for lack of a better term, it will be a very much appreciated film.
Yeah, it'll be pushed to its general audience, and I'm sure they'll put some spin in it for young adults to go and watch it as well.
But it's not something that...
Yeah, it's not something that jumps off the page.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Orient Express, let's do it. But yeah, I get that. Yeah. What about you, Sach?
Who are they getting to play Poirot? I mean, like, David Suchet is like a real hard person to change over.
It's not going to be him.
I know it's not going to be him. I mean, like, I know, like, in 2001 there was a version where they got Dr. Octopus to play him.
Alfred Molina.
Yeah, Alfred Molina, he was him. Before that, they got some other guy, I can't remember, but, like, David Suchet, he's on TV every single week. Even now, the guy's playing him. Actually, no, I think the last one was like 2 years ago, and I think they stopped it. But it was going on from 89 all the way to 2013. Like he's still he's still fresh in my mind. I think that's the problem with me, because what, my little brother's a big fan of this. So's my mother. So it's always playing on in the house all the time. It's up there with Columbo to me, but he's very iconic in the role for me. For this new version, I'd just say it'd be interesting to see who they get to fill the Poirot role. I don't know. I wouldn't even know where to begin. There's probably loads of people that but he's.
I mean, he's got that sort of quality to him. I can see where you're
going with Christoph Waltz. I don't know, man.
If he stopped looking a bit, like he drinks a lot, maybe Gerard Depardieu.
There's no way that's happening.
Yeah,
he's fat for life.
Well, he's not being fat, but it's he's got a little something in the face where it's just like.
Nah, that's not good.
Wine is not the friend.
That's never going to be reversed. He's done.
I'm sure there's a lot of people who could maybe pull it off, but again, I think it's
maybe Patrick Stewart.
No.
I was going for the whole bald angle, give him a funny tash, French accent.
No, I just think it's you can do it, but again, it's a thing of you have such a history with the project.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know how often the Poirot stuff gets played in America.
Yeah, that's true.
So if it's being made as a major big budget film, this is something that is definitely going to go into cinemas.
Oh yeah.
It's not something that you immediately know is going to be on BBC. It's going to be on ITV. So having that experience with it, you anticipate it. You wait for it. Yeah. If it's just popping up in America, you're like, oh well, you know what? I've never heard of this. It's Murder on the Orient Express, but I know who Angelina Jolie is, or I know who Kenneth Branagh is. So yeah, I'll watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, I don't know who they get to play Poirot, but there's so many people that have played that character over the past 40 years. to me, David Suchet was one guy that did it. And that was it. I didn't think anything else of it. And so, either way, I like the director. I like Angelina Jolie, and so whatever they get for that is will be great. And moving on from that, we're going on to John Williams. So John Williams is returning to conduct, and he's coming back to conduct Indiana Jones and Episode 8, Star Wars Episode 8, that is. And that's great news. I thought the guy was going to retire now. I didn't think he was going to do anything else, to be honest, but I'm glad that he's coming back, and I'm a John Williams fan. It's one of the first things I was exposed to in terms of orchestral music, so for me, it's a great win. What do you think?
It's weird. I don't think it's tremendously like kind of newsworthy. I kind of look at it as it should just be academic. It should just be, oh, there's a Star Wars film coming out. It's part of the continuity. It's not
cool.
You know,
get in
like
your box.
Like Rogue One. It wouldn't bother me if John Williams has nothing to do with
Rogue
One. Because I'm like, okay, but that's just like it's the filler part. Whereas, you know, it's just like, oh, Episode 5, it's John Williams. Okay, cool. It's like, you know, I don't expect anyone else, but at the same time, the themes for Indiana Jones, the themes for Star Wars, they're so iconic that even if you got someone else to do it,
just won't be the same.
It wouldn't be the same, but at the same time, it would matter. Are they going to change it? If they're not going to change it, then it's like, you know, we pay attention because we know it's John Williams. If you didn't know it was John Williams and then you just had someone else take over and do the same music, would you notice as much?
Yeah, you know what? Now that I was about carry on.
But, no, it's literally that.
But you know, it's funny you should mention that. Harry Potter. I would say this about Harry Potter. I'm going to upset a lot of Harry Potter nerds here, but here's the thing.
You got one next to you, so.
Harry Potter, how many Harry Potters did he do the score to? The first one, right? He did the score to the first one. Now, granted, they used his the main Harry Potter theme and certain themes from that original movie in the other ones. I can tell you now that is not fucking John Williams, and that is an imitation in all of those fucking ones. And you know what? Yeah, every time I hear the Harry Potter theme tune in anything but the Philosopher's Stone or Sorcerer's Stone, if you're from the States, you know what I mean? Like, you know it's not John Williams. Even, you know, sometimes they're not even trying to sound like John Williams. They're just giving up.
The thing for that, the conductor's trying to put his own mark on it.
Oh yeah,
they have to use that because John Williams is established.
That's the theme tune, man. You can't get rid of the
because they've established once you establish a theme, it's got to ride through the whole series. You can change it, manipulate it to wherever you want. It's like with Spider-Man, when that's the only. Do you know the third Spider-Man film? When that I don't know who the conductor was for it, but when he took over, I heard more of Danny Elfman singing when Danny Elfman was doing it.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
That was really. I found that really weird. I was like,
but it's like
what?
it's like when it's like Superman. Superman 1, that was John Williams. Superman 2, 3, and 4, it was someone else, and even Returns, it was somebody else, but using his themes. And you could tell it's not John Williams. Yeah,
because one is that it always has to do with the orchestra. And the conductor.
But
the orchestra he used was an American orchestra for the other Superman films. And even with this last Star Wars film, I could tell instantly that wasn't the London Symphony Orchestra.
I agree with them because it does sound a little bit weird. But you know what? One of the things he did say, like in the Return, he just can't see anyone else doing Rey's theme, he said, because that was the one theme that he worked on a lot for episode 7, and obviously he's got like a lot more ideas to do with that main character's theme throughout this trilogy. So I think it's nice that he's back.
That's great. I thought he was done.
Yeah, I thought he was done. I thought it was going to be someone else, and he probably had some notes, and you know, that kind of thing. But no, you know, I think he's doing one movie at a time until, you know what I mean. I'd like to see him do round that the trilogy, at least. If they do another trilogy after that.
I think the person that I know will take over is Michael Giacchino. He's the one that sounds closest. When he did the Jurassic Park theme, that's the closest I've ever heard.
Is he the same guy that did the Super 8? The Super 8?
Michael Giacchino, he did the Mission Impossible 3.
Yeah, he did Super 8. He did Super 8.
And he did The Incredibles as well.
Yeah, Super 8's, when he did Super 8, that soundtrack sounded like Wiliams. Like, I thought it was Wiliams, but
he's the only, apart from Don Davis, who's retired now, he's the only one that sounded like Wiliams.
Don Davis retired now?
Don Davis retired after Matrix Reloaded.
Oh, really? Yeah. I didn't know that. Okay.
He was the only one that sounded, when he did Jurassic Park 3, I was like, you got it. And the other person who upped that was Michael Giacchino, and so for me, Giacchino, I just need to hear 2 other things from you, then you can take the mantle.
Yeah.
And so therefore, I think he's going to take over from him. I don't know who's doing Rogue One because it hasn't.
Well, I don't think Rogue One really matters as much.
I know, but it still has to have a congruent theme.
Yeah.
That sounds Star Wars like.
I think with Rogue One has a lot of leeway to be its own Star Wars film, and I think that, you know, it could borrow some of Williams' themes.
It has to.
But no, there's nothing saying that it has to, but I'm just saying it could. But at the same time, it doesn't have to be chained to Williams as much as stuff that goes on in the episodes. If you know what I mean. Like,
I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, like, you look at Rebels, okay? The guy that does Rebels, you know what I mean? That guy isn't John Williams.
Yeah, but there's John Williams themes all through.
There is, all up and down that, as well as stuff of his own. And he's a fanboy. He gets stuff from the games and from various stuff that he steals from everybody, man. Like hell, he even put some of Raiders of the Lost Ark in there in one of the episodes. Because he could. But if you watched in context to why, you'd have like a little bit of a giggle. But but yeah, I think this is great news. Indiana Jones as well. That's great as well. But then, to be honest, he keeps scoring Spielberg stuff, even though he hasn't scored anyone else's. So, you know, he's exclusive to Spielberg. It's great to see that he's taking time out for Star Wars. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was doing Indy 5 as well. So, that's definitely a thing now, as opposed to a talking point. That's brilliant. This whole news is brilliant. I wish he scored everything. I really did. This is going to be very controversial to a few people as well, but I really wish he scored Man of Steel. In the sense that I don't. No, you don't agree. I don't think it's a different kind of Superman, but it's I forgot his name. Hans Zimmer did. Works on trailers. I don't think it works. I don't remember it.
It didn't work through the length of the film.
It works for what it needs to do, but it's not. As soon as I heard the thing for Superman in any context, I know what it is. And when I hear the Man of Steel theme, it's it's a Man of Steel theme. It takes a while, but maybe that could be to do with my age. For a younger generation, they're like, "Hey, it's the Man of Steel theme." I can't see any young people doing that, but
no. I agree. It doesn't have the what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't have the I would say emotional strength.
Yes.
Of what we have from the Dawn of Superman.
It was very linear.
Yeah, but at the same time, he is it. You can't put that Superman. Like we said, that's a completely different Superman. It's a completely different kind of
Yeah,
era and aura of a film.
Yeah, gotcha.
Whereas this is basically they're entering into the cinematic universe field, and you can't enter into that type of field and bring baggage with you, right? Even if it's beautifully, Louis Vuitton, John Williams, orchestra baggage, you can't bring that kind of baggage with you because you don't want anyone to think about what came before.
Yeah.
It's like you watch The Incredible Hulk. Try as they might, they don't really want you to think about Ang Lee's Hulk film. They're just like, no, that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You know, when you saw Captain America, they're pitching it like it's the only Captain America ever. And I'm like, no, there's been like 5 Captain America films before
No, that
this.
Ang Lee Hulk's not entirely true. I mean, not Ang Lee. The Incredible Hulk's not entirely true. You see, the director of The Incredible Hulk, what's his name?
Lewis
No,
Letitia.
there we go, that guy. He actually did the intro because the
Yeah.
thing is, he was a big fan of the Ang Lee one,
Yeah.
but he knew it was a reboot as well at the same
I
time.
mean, I know that's why they
So we
start
did,
in
yeah. That's
Brazil
why
and
they'd
everything.
start with
Yeah.
the intro with how he did. But he said on the director's commentary, he said he did the intro the way it was. If you like the Ang Lee one,
Yeah.
then there's, you could just say that he tried to get cured
Yeah.
and it failed and this happened. Or if you believe this is the origin, then this is your origin.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this was originally written as a sequel to the Ang Lee one,
Yeah.
which is why he starts off in South America.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I
it's
get
kind
that.
of like a loose. It's like
Loosely
a loose
based.
loose
Yeah.
reboot. It's not an entire reboot.
Okay,
but
well-
anyway, we've totally gone
Yeah.
off topic there.
Good off topic.
yeah.
but yeah. Okay, from John Williams to The Passion of the Christ 2. I don't have much to say about this, but Mel Gibson directing again is absolutely brilliant. Well, I think two of us may agree to that. Giving if you could see the room right now, you could see many different expressions, and so I like Mel Gibson. Apocalypto, his last film, I can't fault that. It's a fantastic film. He did something that was impossible. He went to it's a language. It's a foreign film that he turned into a blockbuster. That's how do you do that? It has subtitles, and it was a blockbuster. That's fascinatingly unique.
Yeah.
And I don't know anyone that's been able to pull that off in that way.
Yeah.
And so therefore, I mean, I've watched the original Passion of the Christ, and it has a lot to say about Jews, but we know where his mentality lies when it comes to that. But in terms of him directing again, I want him to direct because he's a good director. And so if this is the world that he needs to go into to get back in with that crew, the Hollywood crew, then so be it. But in terms of the actual film coming out, sure, why not? Why doesn't Jesus deserves a sequel as much as any other superhero? Jesus is a superhero. He came back from the dead, man.
Isn't there a trailer for Passion of Christ 2 with Chris Tucker?
Is there?
From Family Guy?
No,
Yeah,
I've not seen that.
there's a trailer. It's like a Family Guy film. It's in the TV show Family Guy,
Right.
where the dad Peter finds Mel Gibson's latest film, which is The Passion of Christ 2, and it's basically like a buddy movie with Jesus Christ and Chris Tucker.
Oh man, that sounds brilliant.
Yeah, it exists. This is actually been on TV. People have seen it.
Oh damn!
But-
I want that film now. I want to see that film.
Yeah.
God damn, Jesus!
Pretty much that.
But yeah, I saw your emotion when I announced this. What's
My displeasure. That's what you saw. I don't believe that we need a Passion of Christ 2. Under any circumstance. I want to see Mel Gibson back in the director's chair. I want to see him back on screen. You know, people have, you know what? Nobody's perfect. People have everyone has an opinion. You know,
Yeah.
some people have stupid ass opinions.
Yeah.
But it's their opinion and they're entitled to it.
Mm-hmm.
Someone having a bad decision, you know, you think of all the kind of celebrity culture, and you think of musicians. You think of your favorite musician. They probably said something stupid once or twice, or maybe a million times in their life. There are billions of people who love Kanye West. He was an absolute, you know.
Yeah.
You know, people have their opinions of him.
Yeah.
That doesn't take away from if he makes a song that you like.
Mm-hmm.
So,
He hasn't done that in years, but
yeah. So it's a thing of, you know, I genuinely, like, I want to see Mel Gibson back behind the camera because, like you said, Apocalypto was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have no problem with subtitles or foreign films at all.
Mm-hmm.
But sitting there watching that film, and I'm like, wow.
You're engaged
You
in a
know?
way you didn't expect
Yeah.
to be engaged.
So it's like, I do want to see him back behind the director's chair.
Mhm.
Just,
Yeah.
like, it doesn't have to be Passion of Christ 2. Certain films don't require a sequel.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, yeah, you know, we saw Jesus die. We saw that film.
Yeah.
It's the Passion of Christ. It happened.
Mhm.
Okay, leave it there.
Mhm.
How about you focus on somebody else now?
Yeah.
I just really don't. I try to be a film purist. I try.
Mhm.
Sometimes I fail. And as a film purist, I only want to see a sequel if it's a franchise,
Mhm.
or if the people behind it actually have a really good, solid reason for why there is a sequel.
Mhm.
Clerks 2, regardless of whether people like it or not, there is an absolute logical reason when you see the film for why there is a sequel.
Yeah.
And then when they talk about doing Clerks 3, or when he was talking about it, the way Clerks 2 ended, you're like, yep, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a film that it's a good reason for it. I don't know, Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a film, it's a franchise, so of course I'm supposed to see a sequel to it.
Yeah.
Passion of Christ, not so much.
Yeah. I see where you're going with that. But yeah, I mean, it's a good reason there. As such, what do you think?
Well, I think, well, it's good to see Mel Gibson back directing. He's got Hacksaw Ridge coming up soon with ex-Spider-Man Andrew Garfield as the leading man, and his son in there as well. You know, it'd be interesting to see what happens. I mean, like...
Is that the film where his child is kidnapped or something?
His daughter.
So
His daughter is kidnapped.
No. It's a World War II film.
Okay.
A World War One film.
Don't know
Oh no!
anything
Either
about
way, it's Hacksaw Ridge is written by the same guy that's writing The Passion, Randall Wallace, who's written just about every single historical biopic picture ever under the sun. He did We Were Soldiers, Pearl Harbor, The Man with the Iron Mask, Braveheart. So he's worked with Gibson on quite a few of these.
Yeah.
Quite a few of these films, and you know, most of these ones are quite good as well. I mean, like, you know, if Randall Wallace can find a decent screenplay around why there'd be a sequel to, maybe it's called The Return.
Well, he
Maybe-
does. He does.
maybe it's called The
a return
Resurrection.
For like
He does
13
come back.
days.
Maybe it's him. Maybe it's him in the. Was he in a tomb? He was in a tomb, right?
Yeah,
Maybe it's
the
him in a
cave.
tomb. Maybe it's like Kill Bill, where she's locked in a coffin, and he's like, "I got to get out." I don't know. Like, I'd watch that film.
Jesus
I don't know,
Christ,
man. Be
taught by
creative.
May.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's just him in the coffin. He's hearing voices from God and angels. It's just a black screen. I don't know, man. Maybe it's a radio play. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what shape or form of this film is coming in. I'm just kind of like, I'm just pleased Mel's got work. Because he ain't had work in a while. We'll see. We'll see. But you say Expendables, but I'm going to tell you this year, Expendables 3 may have been a bad film.
It wasn't a bad film.
Oh, no, man. There were nah. It had good moments in it, and one of those good moments was by Mel Gibson, because the bit where he's in the truck or the car
Yeah,
or whatever,
and he's having a conversation.
he's talking to Sylvester Stallone. That one scene. If you forget it's Expendables, if you just showed me that one scene and said, this is the new Mel Gibson's movie, and like, you don't know it's Expendables, here's him, and here's a clip. Boom. you'd just be like, holy shit, he's still got it. That's an Oscar winner right there that at this moment is in a cage. Okay? He's a caged fucking animal and he wants to do something. I don't think Passion of the Christ is the right movie. I don't think it's the right movie, but you know, if he wants to do it, if it makes what the first one did, then maybe it's his ticket into having Hollywood suck his dick again. I don't know. Good luck, Mel. I don't know whether I'll see this one because I definitely didn't see the last one. But what was the last one like, guys? You guys seen it? Was
brutal.
Bloody.
Yeah.
If Tarantino made this film,
Yeah.
it'd probably have less blood.
What?
It's brutal, man. It's what he was trying to depict of what that era was really like.
Right.
And,
Okay.
And if you were to be dropped in that, whoa.
Yeah.
It's the Romans were brutal,
Yeah.
and they depict that with great detail.
Right.
So especially the end, very
I just remember
very
because I
raw.
was working in the cinema at the time, and I remember people throwing up in the screen, man.
Think of it more like a war documentary. If you drop the cameraman in the war zone and let him film, it's more that than this is a film.
Yeah, I'd say that's the best way to describe it.
Okay, so like Mel Gibson's on drugs throughout this film. Cool, awesome.
What? What?
I didn't say this. I know a guy who actually films stuff. He films stuff for documentaries in places like Afghanistan and stuff, or you know wherever there's like heavy action and shit. And I was like, wow, how'd you know, that's really brave. He goes, well, at first I was scared as shit, but he's on cocaine half the time when he's filming this shit, so that's how he gets through. And I was like, really? He's like, we all do it.
Well, you know,
You want that footage, you got to be on something. Yeah. So.
Well, I don't. Not condoning drug use at all.
Oh no, I'm not condoning drug. I'm just saying what someone else told me.
But I was gonna say, considering what they have to film,
Yeah.
like I'd probably say that is probably the best way to go about it.
It's like, oh shit, there's an AK-47. Fuck. I drop the camera and fuck off, mate.
Yeah.
I'll be like, you shoot your own shit, mate. Just nah, fuck that. But no, back on point. Yeah. I guess so. I guess. What did you say, Joe?
What did I say?
About Passion of Christ.
Don't worry. We're beyond the topic.
You went off into a tangent.
We did.
I
sorry.
didn't.
I'm trying to. Anyway, without further ado, next topic.
Okay, so the next topic is how to fix DC. No, it's not. The next topic is Transformers the movie, and so it could do about the singing. So it's been upgraded. It's got its. I think I've got a picture of it here somewhere. It's had its restoration and it looks pretty cool. It looks good to say the least. This comes out on Blu-ray on the 13th of September. Yeah, it does. 13th September 2016. Every 5 years or so, this film's always been released, but this will be probably the best it can ever look.
Yeah.
So this will. I grew up with Transformers, and for me, it's something that I would like to show I've shown my niece and nephews that, and it's something I want to
pass down.
Yeah, exactly, and it's such a. If these kids nowadays just understood, they killed off a main character at the beginning of the film. That's deep. That takes. I don't care what any drama, any show that you used to. Oh, you like this character? This was before J.R. Martin did his thing.
Game of Thrones was not around
when
Transformers was around.
Yeah, and so when you we're just gonna kill off Optimus Prime. What? What? You can't do that. And they killed off Megatron as well.
And his death was actually, it meant something.
Yeah.
It didn't just, it wasn't just like, he's dead.
Yeah.
It actually happened over gradually. It happened, and then he had his moment of final speech and thing, and then he died. Like I'm pretty sure I can't remember crying at any film, like anything that's happened in the film. I think the closest was probably The Green Mile.
Right,
But
yeah, I can understand it.
if I could go back, I wouldn't be surprised if when I watched that, the first time I watched Transformers, I wouldn't be surprised if I cried.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember it, but I wouldn't be surprised because that was, I watched that film maybe about 3 years ago, recently.
It's still...
you feel it. I was like, hey, no, this ain't good.
Yeah, it still hurts, man. And it's... I know being an adult now, I know the original order was, hey, we need more toys. Let's get rid of these ones. But the writers came out in such a creative way. It's like, okay, how do we do this without throwing... Yeah. Just throwing other things in and taking things out.
They cared about what they were losing.
Yeah, and so to do it that way, I've not seen any other kids show / young adult show do anything like that. In terms of, because you just wouldn't do that now. It's too bold. It's such a bold move to kill off your one character that is the shining light of a series, and then carry it on. Yeah, exactly. And that to me, that's why I always love this movie, because it's so bold, and the villain is the villain of all villains. It eats planets, and it was Orson Welles. So it's as far as I'm concerned, yeah, I'm down with this. So I took up all the anyone that could ever say about it. Or maybe you have more to say about it. What do you guys think?
If you're old enough to remember the original show and you haven't seen this film, I hate you. Yeah, I'm literally, like, when I read that they were doing it, I thought, oh, you're doing it again? I was like, okay, fair enough. And I was like, you know what? I've got it on DVD. I don't have it on Blu-ray. Fair enough. That's good enough reason to wait.
Yeah, and they're putting work into it.
And that was before I saw the image. Now I've seen the image, I'm like, that is a pre-order.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to the shop and get that. I want to come home from work and see it sitting there waiting for me.
So I mean, it's as far as I'm concerned, it's cool. What do you think, Seth?
It's good. I think you nailed all the points there. Yeah, man, sign me up. They got the touch.
Well,
obviously,
if you don't like Michael Bay's interpretation of it, and I can't say many people that do. This is the good alternative for anyone to watch if you want to see a coherent film with robots. So that's brilliant. That comes out on September 13th, 2016. Okay, on to the next film. Next topic: how to fix DC films. And I purposely made it like that to cause debate.
I was going to say, I didn't say fix it. I just want to talk about Jeff Jones.
Long live Jeff Jones.
Does that title not cause debate?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys fire with this. How do we fix DC films?
We don't. There's nothing wrong with them. Before anyone says anything, I started my entire comic book life as a Marvel guy. I'm still a Marvel guy, but I am now also a DC guy. And that is because of comics, not films. But I honestly believe there is nothing wrong with the DC films. The only difference between the DC and the Marvel films is the order you're seeing them in. You're seeing everything exactly the same. Man of Steel is Iron Man 1. Batman vs Superman is Civil War. The only difference is the order you're seeing them in. You're seeing them out of like chronological order. You're seeing them happen, and it's okay. So this is part 1, and this is part 4, and then we're gonna go back and see part 2, but then we're gonna go see part 6 after that, and then we're gonna see part 3, and then maybe we might see part 5, and then it will all start to make sense eventually. That obviously, yes, I get it. If you watch a film and you don't understand what's going on, it's bad filmmaking. Mm-hmm. But when you watch a film, knowing there are other parts to this film coming out, if you don't understand something, just wait. Watch the next part. When you see the next, if you get 5 parts in and you don't understand anything still, then we have a problem. You've seen 2 parts. Relax, chill out, calm down. Right? I bet when everybody watched Iron Man 1 and then, you know, Nick Fury popped up at the very end of the film and he said, I want to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative. If you were not a comic book geek, you were like, oh wow, Samuel L. Jackson's in it. That was what you took from that. Yeah. If you were in that, you'd be like, oh my gosh, Nick Fury, Avengers. You were happy. You were waiting for that. So just chill out. Wait, everything will make sense in the end. When it comes out. Watch the Ultimate Edition of Batman vs Superman. Everything will make sense. You'll be happy. I promise you. Just don't try and come running back and say, "Oh, I'm a fan. I knew all of this," because you didn't. You hated the film.
And such. How do we fix DC films?
Well, how do we fix DC films? I don't know, but it looks like Ben Affleck is doing that himself. I mean, like, he obviously was disappointed with, like, Batman Superman himself, that he had to hire Jeff Jones to write the Batman. Which also brings into effect, you know, it's no secret that Warner Brothers have just been throwing money at this thing from day one. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Nolan only attached his name to it just to keep the Dark Knight trilogy separate from all of this shit. You know what I mean? His only hand in, like, this film was casting Ben Affleck. You know what I mean? And that's really about... Oh, and getting David Goyer's script made originally for Man of Steel. Yeah. I mean, like, outside of that, Warner Brothers still don't really have much of a plan. But that doesn't mean things are changing right now, because quite obviously... They're seeing what Marvel are making, okay, and they had to retaliate. They had to do something. You know what I mean? That's why Kevin Tsujihara, that people that don't know, he's the main man over at Warner Brothers. He's the head CEO guy in charge over at Warner Brothers. Recently in charge, I might say, by the way. So by the time he came to power, half of these projects were already greenlit to some degree or another. So Man of Steel was already made before he came to power. Batman Superman was on the drawing board, but it hadn't got made, so he was like, make that film. You know what I mean? Make Wonder Woman. Because if you remember when Man of Steel came out, all these projects were still in limbo. They weren't announced yet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
There was no
Tsujihara just came in and it was just like, okay, so Marvel are doing their things. We've had all of these IPs and no one's done fuck all about them. Have we got morons working here? Someone, make it happen. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I'll kill you with my samurai sword. That's what he did. And this is the result of that. Now, is it the right way to go?
His samurai
Probably.
Sorry, that was the one thing I took from that.
He's Japanese. He's Japanese. You know what I mean? Like, I know that's literally what has happened there. Man wants action. You know what I mean? He's constructed this DC universe, like you said, in the opposite direction. Whether you like the movie or not, fair enough. I didn't personally, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, like, the thing is, they acknowledge it's a dud, okay, from a certain point of view.
How can something that made 900 million be a dud?
No, but in terms of critically and what people are bitching about. But the thing is, they're going through all the steps to try and right this wrong. You know what I mean? Like, Ben Affleck, all of a sudden, director, what's the first thing he does in power? He gets one of the main men from DC Comics. Yeah. You know, there's probably one of the best writers of DC Comics in to co-write. Not just write it completely himself, because he's never written a movie before himself. He's co-writing it with Affleck. Affleck, who's a fanboy, who gets films, who's an Oscar winner for writing goddamn screenplays. And I'm sorry, if there's one thing to take out of Batman Superman, he is fucking Batman. Okay? Yes. He is fucking Batman. When you see that meme where, like, they're asking about how bad the movie is, you should see his face. His face is like, I work so damn fucking hard. And you know what? He beat up people. He took names and faces, hired the guy. He hired the main man in Jeff Jones. And now what's happened over these past couple of weeks? Jeff Jones is now the main creative guy over at DC. Yeah. That is a beacon of hope to me. You know what I mean? A little bit. Being a comic book guy, okay? That is a bit of a beacon of hope. It's not quite the same as what's going on with Marvel, because he's not the Kevin Feige just yet. He's one of the guys. You see, there's still other fucking motherfuckers there that are up in there in Warner Brothers that feel they need to say. And I say, fuck those bears, okay? I say, fuck those bears. They need to get Paul Dini from the fucking animated side of shit because he knows his shit, yeah? Right, Paul Dini, okay, his background was what? Fucking Lucasfilm, okay? 1986. He was working on fucking droids and fucking Ewoks, the TV series.
Was that fucking Ewoks?
Yeah,
was it?
he was fucking Ewoks, man. Quite literally, he's bending the Ewoks down and giving them it right in the mouth. But no, him and George, okay, they were doing their thing, okay. But no, he came from Lucasfilm, and then he went straight from Lucasfilm into animation over at Warner Brothers, doing Tiny Toon Adventures with Spielberg, okay. And from that, Batman, the animated series, after Batman, Justice League, Superman, everything that's good in those animated shows. You got Paul Dini to thank for. This guy knows his shit. Get him out from anime stuff. Make him a guy up in the fucking movie biz, man. I mean, like Jeff Jones. Over to you, my friend. Who is Jeff Jones?
Jeff Johns, not Jones. Johns is basically, for lack of a better term, the last great savior of DC Comics. He is the guy who, when he came in, he started writing Green Lantern. Now, I can't express to you in an accurate terms what he did with Green Lantern. Let's just say that Green Lantern was... He Leicester City'd Green Lantern. That's what he did. He came in and Green Lantern was literally like, you are fighting relegation. Like, they're about to kill you off. And with 6 issues... I say again, 6 issues. 6 normal comic issues, which is about 23 pages each. 6 issues, he completely took their last storyline, which lasted a long time, which was the Parallax saga, which, if you don't know anything about comics, it was basically, they had it that Hal Jordan, the main Green Lantern, went crazy after his whole city, his whole town blew up. He went crazy, started killing every other Green Lantern he could, took all of their rings so he could get just enough power to recreate his city and every life that died on it. Obviously, it didn't work, and everybody, like Justice League, Green Lanterns, everybody had to band together to stop him because he started calling himself Parallax. Now, what Jeff Johns did, because this storyline ruined Green Lantern as a character, what Jeff Johns did was he came in and he was like, give me this. He took it, revamped it, so the Parallax was actually a kind of demon possessing entity that had possessed Hal Jordan. He didn't get rid of it. He didn't say, oh, it never happened. He kept that it happened, but he changed the how and why, and it gave you a real explanation, and it made the character of Hal Jordan better. I mean, it made him good enough that he punched out Bruce Wayne Batman. Yes, it happened in a comic, and it wasn't a bullshit moment. It actually worked. He made it happen, and it worked. Jeff Johns had literally, from that moment, he went out of his way, and he has worked on so many different things. The New 52, the Green Lantern, the New 52 Justice League, he made that happen. He literally wrote those issues. So, the Superman you got now, with no red trunks, that's Jeff Johns.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, he's responsible for bringing DC, I wouldn't say back from the brink, because they were never there, having, the power of Warner Brothers behind them, but he took DC to a brighter market, a brighter audience. He took them to a market where you didn't have to be a hardcore fanboy from however long ago to like it. So when you have him in charge, you know what you're doing. Everybody was, loving it when Joss Whedon stepped in, and he was like, okay, he's the guy doing Avengers, and he's going to make... Everything is perfect under Joss. And for a time, it was.
Until it wasn't.
But the point is that Jeff Johns was essentially what we had in Joss Whedon. And Jeff Johns is coming straight from a comic angle. So when he's doing it, he is aware of what fans like and what they don't like. He's bringing it forward. So if this man is comfortable enough to not try and distance himself from Batman vs Superman, there is something in place. He knows what he's doing. They're putting things in place and things will work. When people are like, oh, we need to fix DC, it's not working. DC's working perfectly. It's a well-oiled machine. It is working. It's just, maybe it's not coming together the way you anticipated, because you've had, what were we in 2017? We've had almost 10 years since Iron Man 1. So you've had almost 10 years of linear, storylines. Everything happens, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and you know exactly where everything happens. When you watch Iron Man 2, there's a little bit which is from Incredible Hulk. Everything lines up perfectly. When you watch Man of Steel and then you watch Batman vs Superman, it doesn't line up perfectly. It doesn't have to. When you're not going to understand who Wonder Woman is. Give it time. You're not going to understand why the Flash is the Flash, or Cyborg is Cyborg, or Aquaman is Aquaman. Give it time. You'll be happy. The Dark Knight trilogy, Christopher Nolan, that has bigger problems than Batman vs Superman. Trust me. Sit down and think about it. You'll see the problems.
Right? Okay, so if I was gonna, there's something that I wanted to ask you before the podcast started, and that was it's in regards to what film was it? So it's Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
And it's the, what did you think of the whole Martha? My mother's name's Martha as well.
Okay, you can't save everything. So, right? You can't save everything. Yeah, it's stupid that someone would call their mum by their first name at the moment they're about to die. Right? I get that. That's a doozy. All right, But look, unless you're a Hawkeye, unless you're Clint Barton, you ain't gonna score a 10 out of 10. Right? Sometimes you are going to miss the mark.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Maybe that was a bit of a doozy, but it served its purpose, which was to get Batman to not kill Superman.
Yeah.
And, for them to think, okay, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, you're not as bad as I thought you were. Maybe I should help you. Right? It is that very, very simple thing of that. It is a dumb mistake. I can't defend it. I've had someone attempt to defend it, in which they said, well, Superman knows that Martha and Jonathan weren't his actual born biological parents, and he wouldn't, so he's like, oh, you have to save Martha simply because of the fact that, it's not his mum. He's like, his mum died on Krypton, She didn't die on Krypton. She moved to New York and started dating Kingpin.
That's true, yes, did.
But it's that simple thing of, so he'd probably call her Martha, and then if something happened, he'd call him Jonathan. I doubt it. He was raised by them. He calls them mum and dad. He called Martha mum throughout Man of Steel. When he's punching Zod in the face about 50 times, he says, you think you can attack my mother? No, you think you can attack Martha? So that is a problem. I get that. But that is one... It's not a major problem. It's just one minor issue of maybe they, that's a long film, right? And the extended version is longer. So you can imagine writing that script out, and you can imagine when they got to the point where we're like, okay, we really need, they've got everything perfectly aligned, and there's just one thing of how do we get Batman to not kill Superman and then go save Martha. I was like, oh, damn, I don't really know. Somebody probably went to the toilet, took a shit, and they were like, I've got it! They came running back. Yep, I've got an idea. This is what we do. It sounds bad, and it is a bad idea. But you know what? Not everything is perfect. Like I said, I'm 100% a Marvel guy. Not everything that happens in Avengers is perfect. Not everything that happens in all the Marvel films works out perfectly. There are points where you're like, I'm gonna have to let you slide with that because this is so good.
Yeah, fair. Okay, fair enough. I can tell. That was the one thing I was saving.
No, that's the thing. Like I said, you can't save everything. I'm still happily, one hand has the Marvel flag, one hand has the DC flag, and I'm waving them both. I don't care.
Yeah.
But-
And the thing is that you just love it. And
Yeah, I
that's
just
the
love it.
thing.
I see every issue when people are like, "Oh, Lex Luthor has the symbols." When he's got the symbols for each character, I thought, there's a reason. There's probably a reason for that. If the Flash is the Flash and he's been the Flash a little while, somebody somewhere, maybe someone he saved, saw that he's got the lightning bolt symbol on his chest. There's that. Maybe Aquaman. Maybe the A symbol. Maybe that's on his belt buckle. We didn't really see him head to toe, full frontal. So maybe that's on him somewhere. And then it's like, okay, maybe that's that. Cyborg's in Star Labs. You think if you have the power, influence, and all of that of Lex Luthor, that you wouldn't know, you wouldn't find out that Star Labs, you wouldn't have a connection there to know and be like, oh, you got this cyborg, and wait, you just called him Cyborg. Okay, it's not Cybernetic Man. No, definitely Cyborg. Okay, cool, fine, cool. You got a logo for that? No. I'm not gonna steal any footage and keep it on my own personal hard drive. I just want to know, But it's these things of that, and you've got Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is the easiest one to explain. She's existed since 19 whatever, First World War. Somebody probably called her Wonder Woman between then and what year are we in now? 2016. So between then and 2016, somebody probably called her Wonder Woman. The symbol, it's basically on her chest. That's pretty easy enough to be like, well, that's a W.
Well, to be honest, I didn't have much of a problem with that. I just went with it. Okay, fair enough. But again, it's my main issue with any of that world at the moment. It's Jesse Eisenberg. I just the moment he came on screen, no. No.
You know what?
I gotta agree with him. I would start cringing throughout every time he spoke. I was like, you guys did not take Bryan fucking Cranston for this guy.
But you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, how often do we get a film where when they announce that they're making the film, everybody is pining for this one particular person to play the role? How many times do we actually get that? I can only think of one time that I remember everyone pining for someone to get a role, and then that person got it.
Who's that?
The Thing in the original, the first two Fantastic Four films.
Oh yeah,
everybody was like, he's got to be the Thing, and he got it.
Actually, no. Right. You know what? Patrick Stewart as X-Men.
Okay.
Yeah.
True.
Because every single
right.
I remember in the 90s. Remember Wizard
Yeah.
magazine. Okay, if you're a comic book guy, it was pre-internet. It's always about Calamity Comics for me and Wizard World. Okay, had to buy that mag, and then they'd have this section. That'd be like a popular IP and who you would cast. Okay, and every time it was X-Men by every single person. Everyone's Patrick Stewart has to be Professor X. So I remember when they were making the X-Men movie, I was like, for fuck's sake, if Patrick Stewart is not Professor X, fuck this movie. You know what? Out of all the people in X-Men, they got that right. They gave the fans what they wanted. Saying that though, I gotta say, after seeing Apocalypse, McAvoy looks good bald.
Yeah,
McAvoy. You know what? McAvoy is really
Professor X.
Really good Professor X.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? You know what? Even in First Class, what I always said this when they were making First Class, we don't know what Professor X was like when he was young. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you had that power and you were a young guy, what would you use it for? I mean, would you be like a monk, like Patrick Stewart? What's the first thing he does? He's chatting up a girl at the bar and he's using his psychic thing. I was like, you know what? I can't fault him because you would do that. Yeah. You would totally do that. And he's just so charismatic, just being himself, that when it came to Apocalypse and he is in the wheelchair and that, you just buy him instantly. Yeah. Just instantly, wow, that's the guy. You know what I mean? I think if they'd got anyone else directly after Patrick Stewart and not got to that bit the way they did McAvoy, I probably would have been, fuck this guy, you know what I mean? Or whatever, because Stewart was perfect. And what I loved about, I've seen Apocalypse 3 times now.
Yeah.
He's even got, it's really funny because he's got Patrick Stewart's mannerisms down in that movie. Yeah. And what I thought was funny, if you watch Patrick Stewart in Days of Future Past, he's actually taken a couple of McAvoy's mannerisms. He even uses the term "I," like if he was Scottish or something, you know, part Scottish or something as well. He's like, "I," you know, just. Which I thought was quite funny. But anyway.
Turning it back into the whole DC thing.
Oh yeah, DC. What?
To be honest, there is. If people can just afford to be patient, they will realize there's nothing to fix. Yeah, there's problems in anything, right? But I mean, let's face it. DC have a problem that Marvel don't face. That problem is they have access to all of their characters. That should be. That makes it. People look at that should make it easier. You don't have to alter anything. It makes it harder. When you don't have your full roster, you think like a football team. When you don't have access to every star player, you have to make that team work, and you have to really sit down and think. You know, it's not. Well, wait a minute. I've got Ronaldo and Messi and Neymar and Jesus Christ, all on the same team, right? When you don't have that, and you're like, no, I don't have that. I've got Ronaldo and a couple lads from the local pub. How am I gonna make that work? When you're in that position, you really have to work harder. You have to make sure those storylines work. You think about it. Civil War. For those who don't know, in Civil War, in the comic books, everybody, maybe bar the X-Men, are in it, right? And when I say bar the X-Men, I mean certain X-Men. They have their own storyline, but they're not part of the main issues of everything that's going on. Marvel didn't have access to Spider-Man until Civil War. Now, in Civil War, the comic, they've got everybody's in it. All of Spider-Man's villains, there's a part where all of them chase him down, right? They didn't have access to that. The Fantastic Four are in it. They didn't have access to that. And it's a core element of the story involves the Fantastic Four. They're not in it, right? So it literally was like a Survivor Series match from wrestling. It was 5-on-5, and it was just like, you know what? All you needed was freaking, somebody commentating it, and as long as it was like, he's got a table, and it would have been a wrestling match. Yeah. That's basically what we got. As much as I love the film, but that is what it was. When you don't have access to everything, you gonna have to work a lot harder. But working harder means you're gonna get a lot better. And the football analogy is perfect, because when DC had to try and catch up, when Warner Brothers and DC are playing catch up to Marvel, it's like when, if you know anything about sports, when a team that is dead last, they are the crappiest team that you could ever come across, suddenly gets a billionaire investor who's like, okay, here's 200 million, buy the best people and go win me the game. And you spend your money getting all these great people together, and then you put them into a team, and on paper that team could destroy anyone, but maybe they haven't all played together, so a couple of passes don't work. They're not synchronized. They're not working together fully. So they don't win every game 10-0 like they're supposed to. Maybe they win it 1-0. Maybe they draw a couple of games. Eventually, once they all know what they're doing and they're all cohesive, then they're going to start banging in, and it's going to be like first match 10-0, second match 10-0, third match 10-0, and it's going to go down like that. DC are there. They've got all the elements, and they're just literally putting those pieces together. And once it's fully together, I promise you, there'll be no one who is like, oh, DC's terrible. Oh, DC's that. Oh, I remember a friend of mine, I won't say your name, but you wrote on your Facebook status, I watched a film called Batman vs Superman. Neither one of those characters turned up. You are incorrect, sir. You are incorrect. Give it time. You'll change your mind on that. You'll change your mind on that. I wouldn't be surprised if around middle of July, your mind is changed on that. When it comes out, when the film, the Ultimate Edition comes out, and when you see Jenna Malone, and when you see the scenes of, screw it, I'm gonna say it. When you see the scenes of Clark Kent, not Superman, Clark Kent in Gotham, interviewing people, talking to people, and they explain, and they say, oh, that man's different now. You know, he never used to be this brutal. Now he's angry. When you hear lines like that, you're like, okay. So that's why he did that. It starts to make a bit more sense. And when you see people, when you see them getting spoken about and spoken to, it'll make more sense. When you didn't seem to understand when Jesse Eisenberg had all that snot running down his upper lip and he was screaming, oh, he's coming. It'll make sense. Things get explained to you. Maybe not in the way you want, but they get explained to you and you'll understand them. Give it time.
Okay. Well, it's thorough. Okay. Since we're coming up to the 2-hour mark, I'm gonna try and breeze through these a little bit quicker. But I knew this was gonna take time, so yeah, that's why I said it to end. But yeah, so Wolverine 3. There's new set photos of Patrick Stewart with Hugh Jackman, and Hugh Jackman has this big bushy beard. I was just trying to find the pictures for it, but
I've seen them.
I've got them.
Okay, you've seen them. Okay, fantastic. It seems to me that they're not going through the storyline that everyone else thought that they were going for.
Yeah.
And now that I've seen these pictures, I'm sure of that now.
Yeah.
Because one, they couldn't, and two, it looks like it's set today, and so it couldn't be. This is supposed to be set further in the future in that essence, right? Yeah. So if it's set today, then they're going a different way with it. So what do you guys make of? Do you think they're just doing their own setup for it?
Yeah. To be honest, I never, even when they were saying, oh, it's going to be Old Man Logan, I generally didn't believe that, because anyone who's actually read the original Old Man Logan, like, it's impossible to do. Not as a film, it's impossible to do the way film rights are.
Right.
It's impossible to do, because that requires the two things that could never ever ever take place. The two entities that will never ever sit down and meet, which being Marvel and 20th Century Fox. Like, those two companies are literally, they are like Arsenal and Tottenham, Manchester United, Manchester City. They are not friends. They do not like each other.
Yeah.
They will not be sitting down and having lunch anytime soon.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So it's,
even for wishful thinking, I guess that's that's what anyone would want. But it's wishful thinking at this point. Yeah.
But I mean, truth be told, I thought, just with the Wolverine films, obviously excluding Origins, I just say, make your film, and as long as you don't completely screw it up where it's a point of, well, this connects to nothing. Right? If you just make your film and make it good, I'll be happy. I'm not expecting Old Man Logan. I mean, to be honest, Old Man Logan isn't even Old Man Logan as it was originally intended anymore. Old Man Logan is now in present day comic continuity. But it's, just as long as they make a good film, I'm happy. Seeing the picture of Patrick Stewart and he looks really disheveled, and then seeing Wolverine look really disheveled, I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I'm interested to see how you go from, Patrick Stewart at, say, X-Men 2 Patrick Stewart, or even before the incident, X-Men 3 Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
That kind of smooth, crisp, always in a nice suit, tailored, ironed, clean, fresh, to see in, like, he's there looking like,
Yeah, like he's about to die.
It was just, like, terrible. So I was like, okay. Well, I want to see how we get to this point. Yeah. So I'm just generally intrigued to see the film. I don't think it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm intrigued to see the film. It's
good to see that it's actually happening.
Yeah, it's good to see it's happening. I mean, to be honest, I'm more intrigued by the picture of the little girl.
Yeah, I was wondering about that as well.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Don't be who I think you are, but
okay, well, I'm going to leave it at that. Satch, what do you think?
Yeah, they're fine. I think Neil hit on the head there. We'll just have to wait and see. Really, I don't really know what they're doing with it. they're doing their own thing. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'll have more of an opinion when I see a trailer at this point. One thing I'll take from that, what the fuck has happened to Patrick Stewart? But I guess we'll figure that out, you know, later on.
Professor Xavier.
Yeah. He looked like he lost all his money.
And the house.
Yeah.
And the house.
That was not Apocalypse Low in the house.
Yeah.
That was the IRS.
A different kind of apocalypse.
Yeah, that was the IRS. Right.
Okay, well, I guess we'll keep a tune of that as more information is released. On to the final topic today. It is the Archer movie, or possibility of an Archer movie. The producers that make Archer were asked if they wanted to make a live action film, who would they have as the lead. The guy that voices Archer, oh gosh, I forget his name, but it's not John Hamm, and they want John Hamm. They see John Hamm as being part of the live action Archer film, and I think that's an interesting choice. I'm not sure if it's the best choice, but I see where they're going with it. The guy who does the voice doesn't look anything like Archer, but you can't replace. If you've ever seen Archer, I know you haven't, Neil, but the very snappy, he sounds like one of those fast thinkers. He's just very on it with the dialogue, and so if you can't get anyone that can match that energy, it's not gonna work, because Archer's one of those guys. He's so self-involved with himself. He's always talking.
Yeah.
He's just got one of those mannerisms that you can't. I don't think a lot of actors have. So unless he tries to choose the right actor, I think John Hamm is a guy that could do it, but I don't think he's got the type of energy to pull off what the voice actor has. But anyway, so I know you haven't seen it, so you've got minimal.
Okay, well, I would just say, without having seen the show, I would say, like, I've seen what the character looks like, so I would say, yeah, John Hamm looks exactly like him.
Yeah.
But if you had to pick someone who's quite snappy, I mean, I don't know how old the character's supposed to be, so maybe like Robert Downey Jr.
I think he's approaching 40, or he's in his 40s.
I'd have Robert Downey Jr. He's quick-witted, he's sharp.
Yeah, that's an idea, actually. I never thought of Robert Downey. Yeah, but yeah, he's got that same kind of he's very witty. He's very smart, very smart being a loose term, but
smart-assed.
Yeah, and so it's I could see that working. What do you think, Seth?
I think John Hamm would be perfect.
Well, I've not seen him at anything where he's got that energy as let me find out this guy's name. Yeah, continue telling me why you think.
I think he'd be okay. I see where they're going with it. I mean, like the guy can do comedy, and he's, you know what I mean. I know everyone knows him from Mad Men, but if you see him prop up on Saturday Night Live and other stuff, I think he's got the chops and the talent to pull off that kind of persona. I'd just say, if it was to happen, because it's all speculation, really. This, you know, I know the creator would like, you know, said if they were to do a movie, doesn't mean it's happening.
It's not happening. They'll just ask.
Like, you know, he'd be an interesting choice. I think he could pull it off.
Yeah, the voice actor's name is John Benjamin, and he, trust me, he looks nothing like Archer. He's bald, first of all. And, it's wig. No, he wouldn't be able to pull it off. He doesn't look like him.
Wow. Wow.
So yeah, it's not even the
like
case.
Joss Whedon, man.
He's this guy's great. He does a lot of other voiceovers as well. Yeah. But in terms of I agree with John Hamm, but I don't think he's got. This guy's sharp with his.
Yeah.
If he was a rapper, it'd be Eminem. It's maybe, but yeah, in that terms, if it does happen, I wouldn't hate to see John Hamm in it. Old but new. So this is going to leave it to the guest, Neil. What is your old but new?
My old but new is the Boondock Saints. Not the Boondocks, as in Huey and Riley, the animated cartoon with them two crazy ass teenagers. No, The Boondock Saints is a film. It came out in 1999, which is probably why you haven't heard of it, because it came out the same year as The Matrix. So that is, I mean, as great, and I can't praise Boondock Saints enough, but as a film, nothing was going to stand up to The Matrix. I can't think of any other film other than The Boondock Saints that I remember coming out in 1999.
Star Wars Episode 1.
Well, that. See, now I tried to block that out from my memory. Right? I just know it happened. I try and forget the year. But it's a great film. For all you Walking Dead fans, it's got Norman Reedus, Daryl Dixon in it, pre-Daryl Dixon. Trust me, this film is probably how he got the role of Daryl Dixon. Right? It's got Sean Patrick Finley prior to him being in Dexter. No, he was in Dexter. Yeah, he was in Dexter for about 12 episodes, I think. But it's prior to him being Dexter. It's also got William Dafoe in it, right? And I was saying to you, it's William Dafoe at one of his shockingly, surprisingly good roles. I don't mean that as if he's a bad actor, but when I say surprisingly good, watch the film, and you will see there's a big surprise in it involving him. And then you'll be like, I get it. I understand now why it's a surprisingly good role. Mm-hmm. Also has Billy Connolly in it. The comedian. Yes, that comedian, Billy Connolly. He is in it. He is superb. I hardly ever use that word, but he is superb in the film. He is absolutely great. It's directed by Troy Duffy. Don't worry if you've never heard of Troy Duffy, because other than The Boondock Saints, he has only directed one other film, The Boondock Saints 2. But there are reasons for that outside of him being a filmmaker. It's to do with a lot of other things. But the film is great. If you like lower budget action films, and I mean, when I say lower budget, I'm talking like, people may be surprised, Lethal Weapon, The Last Boy Scout, El Mariachi, Desperado. If you like those type of action movies, you will absolutely love The Boondock Saints. Because I can't praise this film. I'm going to go home and watch it again tonight. Right? This film is good enough. It was the first film, once I found out I could do it, back in the old days when iPods were like one button, I literally, not touchscreen, one button. It was the first movie that I put on my... When I knew I could put films on my iPod, it was the first movie I put on there. Right? It is one of the most great films. Everything about this film is done so perfectly. And when you see it, it's just like you understand. You see the intelligence behind it. You see the comedy behind it. When you see Rocco... I can't remember the actor's name who plays him, but Rocco is an Italian gangster. Ron Jeremy is in this film.
Damn.
Right? Ron Jeremy is in this film, right? He's never naked in the film. But you see him in this film, and it's hilarious. One scene involving him is hilarious. Cry your eyes out, hilarious. Please, please, please watch it. If you take nothing I say in this one podcast, but this, watch The Boondock Saints.
Fantastic. And that is the recommendation. That is the old but new this week. Thank you very much for that, Neil. I'll put that in the description, and you guys can research the trailer and where to get it. Okay, so that's the end of our topics. On to films opening this week. And so we have The Conjuring 2, which is directed by James Wan and stars Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson. And this is obviously a sequel to The Conjuring, which was really well received, from what I remember. And I know I enjoyed it. It scared the hell out of me. And now they're doing another film based on a true story that happened here in Enfield. And even if you just look this up, you'll see one photo that will just sum up what that is. I'll put the link to in the description to it. But I want to see this film, but it scares me the fact that
so close to home.
Yeah.
it's not even that it's close to home that it happened.
Actually happened.
It's very well documented, and so it's just going into a film saying, "Damn, I know everything is played up for the camera's sake, but it just the fact that something like that could happen in general is something that's whenever do stories like this, it really." You go into it too. If you're not a God-fearing person or a death-fearing person or don't believe in entities or anything like that, even if you don't, it'll still send a shiver down your spine just to think that, okay, this is a documented thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of it is true or how much isn't true, but that's scary as hell, even if it's a half truth. So it's yeah. Sorry, I've talked on about this enough, but this film comes out on Friday the 10th of June. What do you guys make of it? Is that something you're going to see?
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm chomping at the bit to watch this film.
Oh, fantastic. And you, Sach?
Fuck that shit. I ain't watching that. I'm scared of that shit, motherfucker. I'll leave the horror movies to you, Joe.
Okay, alright then. From that, on to the next film, which is Bang Bang, which is a French film. It looks like it's about it's like one of those hookup films. It's a bit like Kids, if you've ever seen Kids. It's just about a bunch of teenagers that have their own inner circle and have sex with each other, from what I got from the trailer. And so it's I can't see any. The trailer didn't give a sense of any particular drama apart from that it's just a bunch of kids that have their own circle that have sex with each other. It does look interesting to a degree. It's again, the trailer didn't show any kind of arc, so I don't know where it goes. So, but I'm fascinated to watch it. Yeah, that's all I can say really. What do you guys think? Is it do you like foreign films in general? Do you like going to see them? Depending on the topic.
I like foreign films because I think a lot of the time when you watch a foreign film, you're immersing yourself in that film's culture. You might not immediately be on the same wavelength. You might not fully understand certain, like the gravity of certain situations because you're not in that country. You know, being we live in England, we are pretty much always kind of subjected to our own personal cultures of wherever in the world our family are from, English culture and American culture. That's generally that's all we get, really and truly. And when we see foreign films, we get exposed to other cultures. So it's things like when you watch La Haine, you were exposed to Paris during that time. When you watch even whether it's like fantastical or something like The Raid, you're exposed to those cultures.
Yeah.
So I like watching foreign films because you get exposed to other cultures. It's good to see what other cultures are like.
Yeah, exactly.
With this film, I kind of don't really want to see it solely because the whole kind of just getting together, hooking up.
Yeah.
It's boring. You know, I kind of like I like my films with at least one character has some strong, serious level of substance. I mean, the only thing that caught me was in the trailer. There's a line, I think it's one of the characters' dad says, what does he say? He says, some kids fight for revolution, you fight to screw anything that moves.
That's brilliant.
Right? And I was like, that made me think, maybe I could watch this.
Yeah.
Because, there's about 100,000 kids, I'd love to say that to, walking the streets of London City.
Yeah.
Because to look at the way technology is, like you've got everything at your fingertips.
Yeah.
And most people use it to take selfies.
Yeah. So, that's my biggest problem.
Yeah, it's like you spend your life with a camera pointed at your face. You're missing everything that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
So on that regard, I don't really want to see
Yeah,
Bang
yeah.
Gang.
Again, I mean, the trailer didn't really give it an arc.
Yeah.
It just said, "Hey, there's a bunch of good-looking kids.
Yeah.
They seem bored. Hey, let's have sex with each other." And that's it. That's literally it. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there is more to it as from that going from that line. I'm guessing it's internal family drama.
Yeah.
And so.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, but that's for some French films that sometimes there is no.
Yeah.
It's just okay, and I'm not dissing French films in any way, but there's some films I've seen that had no point to them whatsoever, and so I'm pretty sure this isn't one of them. But Sach.
Yeah, I mean, like, it didn't really grab me, to be quite honest, that particular trailer.
You weren't really watching it, to be honest.
No, I do. I watched it at home, and I watched it again here. Yeah, not really feeling this one. Not because it's a foreign movie. I love foreign movies. Yeah.
Just not. It's not your in your
thing.
ballpark. Yeah.
It's not my thing.
All right then. Well, the Bang Bang, a modern love story, comes out is an 18 and it comes out on Friday the 10th of June. Again, I'll put the trailers in the description on the podcast, and have a look at it and see if that's something you want to see. On from that to film 20 questions. Okay, so if you're not familiar with this, this is where I write the name of a film down and you have 20 questions to guess what that film is for my yes and no answers. And so I'm writing a film down right now. And there we go. Okay, so actually no. I was gonna go for something a little bit hard, but this film is popular, but I don't think you'll get. Okay, so
Since you're not using that film, can I know what it is?
yeah, everyone knows what it is. I think. Actually, no, that's a lie.
No, but if it's not a film that you're gonna ask me the questions on, can I know what that film is? Now.
I'm not sure what you're asking me.
As in the title of the film that you're not going to use.
Yeah.
Can I know what that film?
Was.
Yes. Yeah. This is for both of you.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It's for both of you. So it's going to be one of those games where if one of you answers, then I'll take that as one of the questions. Mm. Okay. So. Okay. Go for your first guess.
Why's everyone looking at me?
No, I don't think. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I have a question. Has the film been in the cinema in the last 5 years?
Yes, it has.
Ooh. Is the director quite a well-known one?
Yes.
Okay.
Is the film part of a franchise?
Yes.
Does it involve superheroes?
No.
Okay.
Is there more than 3 parts to this franchise?
Yes.
Is it by Ridley Scott?
No.
That's one franchise out then.
Do all parts of this franchise have the same main character?
That's a bit hard to answer with a yes or no. Ask me the question again.
Does every part of the franchise
Mm-hmm.
have the same main character?
No. What? Oh, damn it. Okay, I'm gonna have to give you that because yes, it does.
Well, either it does or it doesn't.
Yeah.
No, because
It's got characters in it that, like, this isn't a question, but I'm assuming it's got characters that in it that are throughout. But
It's
main guy's not.
it's tricky because the question that you asked before, I can't. You said you were talking about franchise.
Right.
I'm talking about the film,
Right.
and so I couldn't honestly say that because it's not part. It's not that. It's very tricky.
Can we confer?
Of course.
All right. Those two franchises.
Yeah, but that's why I said the other question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So.
But
it could be,
the film may not be by that person, but that person has only made one or two of that film. But there are four. There's 5 parts to that film.
yeah, but this one's like a different name. Does that make sense? But it's still part of that franchise.
Yeah, but this is what I mean. There's that franchise has 5 films,
Yeah.
and there's 2 of them that are by that person.
Yeah, but
So there's 3. So there's 3 others that are not by that person.
yeah.
That technically do involve the same character.
But this one didn't. But I did ask him whether it was directed by Scott.
Yeah, but if it's not directed by Scott, it can still have the same main character in it.
But those ones weren't out in the past 5 years.
Yeah, but I asked. I said, "Oh wait, that's right." I said,
Yeah,
"There's a
yeah.
film on the last." Yeah, but
Yeah.
that one was.
Yeah, but that's directed by Scott.
Yeah,
Yeah, there we go.
No.
That's
Okay,
why I was like, okay, because that was the first thing I was thinking of. I was
Yeah.
like, maybe the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Does this film take place in a forest type location?
No.
Is it an ensemble cast, or is it the type of film where it has like 2 main leads or a main lead?
I would say there are 2 main obvious leads, but it's an ensemble cast.
Okay.
I must say, when it was out in the cinema, it was a re-release.
Huh?
Okay.
I thought that would make it easier.
It does and it doesn't.
Half a franchise.
There's 2 main leads.
There's a bigger ensemble cast,
Mm-hmm.
but there are 2 main. Actually, I'd say there are 2 main leads and 1 supporting.
The last 5 years, and it was a re-release.
No. So the last 5 years, having a theatrical release was the re-release.
Yeah.
Oh, so it came out before
Yeah.
originally.
Yeah.
Dude, that's just confused the hell out of me.
No, I just answered the question that you asked, and it's. I can only
And
say
it's
yes
not
or no.
directed by Ridley Scott. Okay.
Aliens.
Got it. Well done.
See?
Well done.
Did I not write that down?
You did write that down, but like he was talking in riddles, man, and I was just like,
No, I
what?
was literally answering your question.
I felt like, you know what? I was like, well, we got 20 questions,
Yeah.
so I may as well just.
how many questions was that? How many questions did we have?
You got up to 8.
8 questions.
Yeah.
Right. What's the record for getting questions like?
I'm not sure. I have to go back through the episodes and see
Okay.
see what that was. But I lost last week. I don't think I would ever have got that with the questions I was asking. But I was, because what really tripped me up was has it been released in the last 5 years, and it has.
As a re-release because it came out. It came
Yeah.
out,
Yeah,
it came out this year.
I think it was his anniversary.
It was an anniversary this year, and yeah, because I watched Alien and Aliens in the cinema.
And so, yeah, I wasn't sure, okay, how can I get around that? And either way, you correlated together and you figured it out, and I've got the figure from Prometheus.
Yeah,
I was thinking it was Prometheus. That's why I said, "Is it Ridley Scott?"
Yeah.
And then you were like, "No," and I was like, "What?"
Picked Aliens because that's the one film out of that entire series, which is he's a famous director, and it's uses the same character. And but again, part of an ensemble cast as well.
Is Ripley is the main character?
Yeah,
but because you said there's two main.
Yeah, I would class not Hicks. What's his name? Hicks? Not Hicks.
Hicks.
Yeah, I would class him as would you say supporting or?
Yeah, he's supporting cast.
Okay, so supporting. So and technically there is one main character. If you count the supporting, the one that survived anyway. Yeah, you get to that.
But all of the end credits.
Yeah, you get to that via the alien in the glass. But yeah, good game, guys. Thanks for playing that with us, Neil. And with that, that is the end of the show. So where can we find you, Neil?
You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. Yeah, Shoot for Moon Pics.
Okay, that's fantastic. I'll leave that description in the. I'll leave that in the description as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can always find me on Sacha Allari on Twitter.
Okay, and you can find this podcast and anything to do with Zedos Gang on any social media, YouTube, Facebook, and the interwebs. And you can write in for if you want to write in for the film 20 questions. For a film for us to guess, you can write in at podcast@zedosgang.co.uk and or leave something in the description or for anything else. Again, with that, I'd like to thank our special guest Neil. What's your last name? Neil?
Coppin.
Neil Coppin and Sacha Allari. Thank you everyone to listen, and this has been the Zedos Gang podcast, and we're out.